Major spoiler alert! This week on the show, is Wonder Woman the best DC Comics universe movie yet?
Well, you'd have to be able to jump pretty high to get over that bar.
And from a woman's perspective.
All that and more this week on the Inner Tube.
What's going on? Welcome to the Inner Tube, the podcast for content creators. My name is Josh.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Carmen.
We're joined by a woman today. A Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
It's Carmen, your very wife, Kevin.
She is wonderful.
Oh, good.
That's wonderful.
How you doing, Carmen?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. We just went and saw Wonder Woman. Literally within the hour is when the movie ended.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this is all very
But
fresh.
that wasn't even soon enough.
So today, major spoiler alert, as I said at the outset, we're going to be reviewing, as we do anytime they put out one of these big DC comic movies. Did we do one for... No, we didn't do one for Suicide Squad.
No,
we only did one for Batman v Superman.
It's too scary. And
It's too much.
It's too worldly. You know?
So we did one for Batman v Superman. I guess we do the Star Wars movies too.
We do it whenever we feel like doing
pretty
it.
much whatever we feel like doing.
When I'm willing to fork out the money to see a movie, which I wish I could do more, but I don't.
You know, it cost, man, it was like $26
I
for
didn't
two
pay
tickets.
a dime.
Yeah, we didn't pay anything.
That was like the first time I paid for a movie in a really long... Well, okay. Since I don't use MoviePass anymore, I actually went to the theater and bought a ticket. But I bought 2 tickets because Kelly came with me.
That's pretty
Yep.
wild.
And it was $26. And I was like,
So
what?
much. Yeah, because it's like $13. That's the math I just did in my head.
Yeah, that's some good math.
Pretty good.
So the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, am I enjoying this $26 worth?
And interesting.
Shrug.
I mean, it's hard to.
With
It's
the,
hard
with
to.
the nod, maybe a little bit.
It's hard to. All right. First off the bat,
because it's DC. The bat.
yes. It's better than all their other movies.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah. What'd you think,
I
Carmen?
had very low expectations.
Well, yeah.
Me too.
Let's talk about expectations before we talk about the movie.
Okay.
Okay.
So Carmen, you had low expectations going into this film, and you're here strictly for the woman's perspective.
Just because you're a woman.
I guess. I don't know.
As a woman, what did you think of the movie?
Well, what part?
No,
As a woman, what were your expectations?
Yeah, what were your expectations as a woman?
I had very low expectations. I guess because she was not very good in the other ones. Well, I mean, she was very like two-faced. She wasn't very 3D dimensional.
Two-dimensional.
Yeah,
Flat.
even though she jumped a lot.
She did. But all of those...
In every direction.
All those
All over,
shots...
yes.
You're right, because
3D.
in that movie, Batman v Superman, when she was in it...
It was either she was shrugging or she was concentrating, looking far ahead.
Yeah, and all the action scenes were like some other...
Yeah.
Someone else.
I mean, towards the end of Batman v Superman, when she shows up and she infuses a little bit of life into the end of that movie, it was like, okay, well, I get that she's kind of being shoehorned into this film, but at least this thing is... I'm not enjoying it, so it's nice to have something else going on here.
Yeah, but it's just her on a green screen. It's just... on slow motion, me on a green screen here. And slow motion, me on a green screen here.
I know.
And then it cuts over to some stunt double swinging a thing at a guy.
Or she does the three V the V stance.
Oh, with the
three of
she's in
them?
front with the shield, and then the two of them behind her.
Yeah.
Just like the other trailer. Same thing
Which
with Aquaman.
is weird because they didn't. Oh, it's the Justice League trailer.
Yeah, same thing.
okay.
Same exact shot.
So she's going to be in Justice League? Is that... She's
Yes.
one of the main people in Justice League?
Yes,
Okay.
Josh.
All right. So it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Superman's dead.
Oh, okay.
He's not coming back. He's making that dirt fly, that's for sure.
I think that the dirt should be in the Justice League. Make the dirt a superhero.
Yeah, they're all going to come together right now over me. Because they play that Beatles song in the trailer.
All right.
It's very on the nose.
A couple of grievances real quick before we get into everything.
Grievances about what?
Just general grievances I have.
I've got general grievances. I
All
thought
right.
I thought we were talking about expectations.
I just want to air a couple of grievances. I think we should all go around and air a couple of
Okay,
grievances.
you start.
Grievance number 1 isn't about the movie. It's about trailers that are doing this stupid thing where they're playing some old pop song.
Yes.
But like doing this acoustic version
That's
of
not
it.
what they do. They do like a trap version of it. It's like come together.
Yeah. It's two things. They're like stripping these old
Over
pop
me.
songs down to their to some acoustic version. I forget
Yeah.
what the name of the song was. It was what was the movie? There was a trailer that did it.
They did Hurt for the
Yeah, that one. But,
Johnny Cash's Hurt
but
for
what was the movie?
Logan.
The trailer that we just saw today, this very day.
we saw Transformers.
Was it Transformers that did it? It might have been Transformers. I think it was another movie.
They did the Atomic Blonde where they had that.
That was the one.
They had that R. Kelly song.
Oh no!
not R. Kelly.
No, it was What a Wonderful World. It was like some weird.
No, that was the
It was
Geo
Geo
Crash.
Oh,
No.
Geostorm.
That looked so dumb.
From the people who destroyed the world so many times before.
How many trailers do you think say from the producers of Independence Day? Like they've been milking that for
Right.
the last 20 years.
Well, let's count them. The day after tomorrow, 2012. That one with the guy from Say Anything. But I can't.
that was 2012.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So they at least twice.
At least twice.
Independence Day 2.
Yeah.
This time, we're really gonna be free.
This time we're really independent. That's grievance number 1. Grievance number 2 is superhero movies where in the final boss fight, the superhero gets thrown like a rag doll and crashes into a roof or a wall and then has to like
Or a
roll
car.
or a car. And so it's just like as soon as they get punched, you have to sit there and watch this scene of them flying through the air, crashing down. And it's so boring every time. Every time it happens, I'm like, oh, here goes
Well,
another
man.
3 seconds. I got to watch this.
Great. Well, my grievance. I don't know if all right. We announced major spoilers and everything. This is like this feels like something I would say at the end, but I want to get it out now.
Okay.
My
Okay.
grievance is I enjoyed a good bit of this movie up until that moment when the
That
guy
moment
is a
when-
god.
Oh yeah.
The god shows up and
Yeah.
he's
The
like,
spoiler.
Ares.
Yeah.
that's the stupidest. Like the movie's over for me because then it's just Batman versus Superman's ending with it's the Man of Steel ending. It's every other movie like this where it's like now we're gonna be able to pick up an entire building and a bunch of things are gonna crash and then you're gonna. Of course, he even said the only thing that could defeat me is you. So now we have to sit here and deal with all of this big fighting. In this
Big
movie, that's all these explosions and stuff, just to the grand finale, get
Yeah.
rid of the budget.
I thought the movie had done a good job of.
And- Grievance number 2.
Sorry. Let me let you air your grievances before I jump in.
I really liked the message when Captain Kirk says it, and then they pound it in your face from that moment on.
From that moment when
That
on.
moment when on.
Oh, where she talks.
Yeah.
Oh,
where-
I
here's
laughed
Carmen's
so hard.
grievance. Here's Carmen. You have 2 grievances that I know of because you whispered them to me. But
you may
Whispering
ha-
Grievances. That's the name of my emo band.
You may have to remind me because
Okay,
I
well,
forgot the other
first
day.
one
Yeah.
is-
So the first one was the costumes that made me very upset.
right, that's the one. That's
Well,
grievance
did
one.
they have any cattle on?
They had horses.
They had horses, so they skinned their horses so they could make their costumes. Because how are they supposed to get their leather?
Dang.
Okay,
From
and so
the men.
did they make? Well, and then also all their costumes were very perfect.
They looked machined.
They looked machined.
When you say costumes, you mean like the
warrior
What the
types.
women wore.
what the women wore. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then
How would they have made those?
One would assume that the gods crafted their armor for them.
That's true.
maybe, but Zeus died, and that's been hundreds of years. Or
Yeah, but-
Well,
that's
but if
been-
the gods craft you a shirt, you keep it.
Yeah, that's why the sword
your
was
favorite
so
shirt.
important.
You never wash that shirt. That's like getting. I once had a shirt autographed by Michael Tate from DC Talk, and so
You don't have to say it from DC Talk. We know who Michael Tate is on this show.
I've essentially had a shirt
We
crafted
know.
by the gods. is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
So I know how you would treat a shirt like that.
So, if you're pounding someone or you're going to be in battle, then you're going to have like cuts or mending of the costumes. And you can't really get things tight on your body.
And right.
Oh, they did it in this.
But they somehow did it.
Boy, they're
If it's only made out of leather.
after filming this every day, their armpits must have been chafed. Like all of their costumes, it looked like they would cut right into your armpits.
Yeah.
Looked real uncomfortable.
But all the other period pieces were really good. Like his shirt when he had it on the island.
When he was
knew-
wearing it.
Am I right?
Regular
Yeah.
Captain Kirk, am I right? I see you managed to get your shirt off
And then my other
from
grievance.
Galaxy Quest. That's a neat little connection I just made there, because
Good for
Galaxy
you.
Quest is a parody of William Shatner, but this guy played Captain Kirk.
Wow.
Here you
Wow,
go.
Kevin.
There you go. Good
That's
joke
exciting.
I just made. What you were saying when they were fighting.
So, about the costumes again, is that
Oh,
what you
great.
do if you have like a costume that needs to be worn or torn? You must shake it with rocks if you're going to do that for
so
theater
it looks
productions, and stuff like
tattered.
that, so it looks tattered. And so obviously they didn't do that for any of the
Obviously.
Amazons, but for the other ones, the period ones, you knew that those actors rolled in mud and did the real deal.
So what you're saying is that the
So-
costumes didn't look like they were used by Amazons, but rather were purchased on Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
And then the second one was when at the end where she's like doing her lines where she's gaining confidence, and
Yeah.
her
Just gaining a little confidence. nothing wrong
brother
with that.
is yelling and getting angry. They're like a football field apart,
Yeah.
and she's just talking in confidence, but she would still have to
believe in
yell.
love.
Well, she's talking to herself. At this point, she knows that her brother's a lost cause.
But it,
Yeah, no,
I
but he's
guess,
like,
but it-
you can't defeat
Look,
me.
but it's like it sounds
And
like a
she's like,
conversation.
I believe in love. Man will love, and they will be good. They're not all good. I mean, look at him over there. He's kind of a jerk, but I believe in love after love. She started singing that Cher song right there.
Sometimes Carmen,
was weird.
Like my brother Jordan is across like a field from me, and like I know that he's a lost cause, and so I'll just whisper things to myself that like I know that if he had an open heart, he would receive.
Yeah.
But since he doesn't, I just
Because he's
whisper
just
truth
like
to
shooting
myself.
lightning bolts at
Right,
you.
right, and I'm just trying to get him to understand that he's the true evil in the whole world.
Picking up a tank, throwing it at you.
I know.
So
I know.
there's something that I realized in this movie that that Batman v Superman didn't do, that I guess I didn't realize when watching it, but like everything all the dialogue in Batman v Superman is intended for something. They're always talking about this big thing that's happening, this bigger. It's like the dialogue is only there to serve the purpose of communicating something to the audience. It's
Right.
all exposition. It's all like, this is the reason why I'm doing it. Like someone commented in my review of it that like, no, it explains that in the movie. And I'm like, I'm sure it does. Like that's all the movie does is explain things.
Right.
Where in this movie, they take their time, and I noticed this very early on with her whenever she walks in on Captain Kirk and he's naked, and that's
Who can forget that moment
wonderful
when-
scene. There's at least like the conversation about the watch, and just like it's communicating something, but it's not like, and here's the big idea that we need to talk about right now.
It's still
Yeah.
all in service to the themes of the movie, but it's not about like and keep track of this plot point because
Right.
this is going to be important.
Yeah, there's like it's two things that are happening. You're
Right.
getting to know the characters,
Right.
and so it's a
Right.
bit of exposition, but it's in the service of also the plot and the story.
Yeah.
It's not so much like in the service of the final battle or whatever.
So overall, did you like the movie, Kevin?
I mean, if I were to give it, and I'm going to now,
Okay.
a rating, I'd give it like a 65.
Oh. You with your weird 0 out of 100.
I know.
I never understood this rating system, but okay, 65. So a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that math adds up.
Easier to.
What about you, Carmen?
Oh, I don't know.
For it, if I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I should not do that to a woman on a Wonder Woman review.
Oh, great.
As a woman, what would you rate it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really rate movies. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it. Okay. 6.5
So I
out of
guess
10. I enjoyed it.
7.
Go ahead,
I
Kevin.
guess.
I was just going to say that, like, for a DC movie, for it, if I'm going to just, like, rate it against my expectations for the movie, I would probably give it, like, an 80, 85%. I was like, oh, this feels like a
8.5.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.5.
8.5.
Where none of their other stuff feels like a movie. It
Right.
feels like a hodgepodge of scenes and just
Yeah.
a disaster. Where this actually followed a storyline, and the motivations were good enough.
It felt like it was sort of like one or two people who had a vision for what it was supposed to be, and for the most part, that vision got seen through.
Yeah.
And that's and maybe I guess you can probably somewhat say that for Batman v Superman, but I feel like the vision of that movie is just to make a movie that looks super cool. Like it's not trying to say something.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny too that the point, like in Batman versus Superman, the point of the movie, and I'm kind of thinking this out as I'm saying it, but like the point of the movie was like that there aren't like good guys and bad guys.
It's that everyone will be. Nobody is good. Yes. If everyone, either you die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. Like I feel like that's kind of the essence of.
So is it
that, but they didn't do it very well.
Is it I mean, so does Wonder Woman then kind of keep that same theme going? Like does it kind of see that theme to its completion? Because that's kind of the point of what this movie is. Ish.
Kind of. What I liked about it is like you had your characters. Did you feel like this was the same movie as Rogue One to a degree?
There were times when I thought about that, yeah.
I mean, it's advertised as this female being the main character.
I
but there's-
definitely cared more about the characters in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
You know, whoever it was that was whoever, I don't even remember his name in Rogue One, who was like the companion.
Cassius.
He should
Cassian?
have been more like Chris Pine's character
Yeah,
in this.
for
That
sure.
would have been, because then you would have cared a lot more whenever
Yeah.
he, spoiler alert for Rogue One, dies.
And spoiler alert
And for this, for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Wonder Woman, there's always like feminist talk about movies like this. And there was a lot of like, oh, right, she's a voice for feminism and stuff. And Wonder Woman's always been that. I think that's kind of funny because this isn't really like, I didn't see that. I think it's a fine character, but she's also kind of dumb. Like ignorant to
Naive.
naive. Yep. Which I think is fun. I think it works better here.
Kevin
than
likes
Thor.
a naive woman.
Yeah, I think it works better here than with Thor, where it's fine with
Yeah.
Thor, but it's a little annoying at times.
Thor kind of that. I thought about Thor too while I was watching this, especially at the beginning. I was like, how long are we gonna have to? Because anytime
Beyond
it's-
that island?
yeah. Anytime
Yeah.
it's like that, I just think, man, I'm gonna have a hard time. If this is kind of the setup for the whole thing, I'm gonna have a hard time connecting with these characters. I didn't really follow the trailers or anything, so I guess I wasn't really expecting it was gonna become like a fish out of water kind of story. But
I didn't either.
But that was some of my favorite stuff in the movie. I think the second act of the movie was my favorite part of it. I didn't really connect with the first act. I thought it was a lot of exposition.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And plus, you have like her voiceover at the beginning,
Right.
And then you have the mom telling the story,
Right.
So
It's
you're
stories
like,
on top of
okay,
stories.
Yeah.
we've got her at the beginning looking at a picture, and then we go into the story. Then the mom's looking at a picture, and then we go
Right.
into a new story,
Right.
and it's like this is a lot of looking at pictures.
But that said, it was easy to follow. Like there was
Yeah.
never a point where I was confused by what was happening.
And that picture story that the mom told visually was really creative. It
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like a painting, but it was really
Yeah, I
intricate
thought
and
it
the
looked
movement
neat.
and stuff. I was trying to figure out if they'd filmed this and then put some sort of like
Yeah.
effect over top, or if they'd
Like,
painted
what
it
is
and
that
then
movie
animated
called?
it.
a scanner. Oh, it's got Keanu Reeves in it. I forget. They like shot it, but then they animated on top of it.
Lord of the Rings.
Well, that one too. They
Yeah.
did that for Lord of the Rings, the cartoon. But
Yeah.
there's a movie. It's called like a Scanner Dimly or a Scanner Darkly or something. I've never seen it. I've
Interesting.
just heard about it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Very fascinating.
Thanks, Kevin.
Chris Pine definitely saved this movie.
Yeah.
That beginning part felt like I felt like I was on a planet in Star Trek.
Yeah.
In the original series Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like it was very green screeny, which I know they didn't do green screen, but just like, oh, we're on this planet. But then what maybe the turn for me was when, because it was fine, it was okay, I wasn't like bothered by it. I was just in the same way as you. Like, I don't really want to spend all this time in this world and learning about this foreign land or whatever. But whenever they get attacked and they have to defend their island, there's an emotional connection there where I'm like, this is really, I like this. That these people, I'm connecting here where it's not like this, we're strong women and we can, but they're just like, this is our home, and now these people we didn't provoke at all are attacking us, and they've been preparing not to go out into battle and kill people, but just to protect themselves. Yeah. And now they're at the point where they have to do that, and I don't know why that is, but it was heartwarming.
It was a special moment for you, Kevin.
It was. I cried.
Wow.
I was like, wow, these poor villagers.
I thought it was
women.
fun. I like how it kind of turned out. You know, it was like a literal crossing of the threshold when Wonder Woman ends up leaving or whatever and crossing, you know, into the dark area.
Man's world.
I thought it was cool too. The colors it's very distinct the way the island looked versus the way the real world looked. I thought that the cinematography was pretty good, especially during the battle fight scenes. A lot of times in these movies, especially I'm remembering in Civil War, it was so hard to follow what on earth was happening during the battle sequences. But in this movie, your eyes always knew where to be.
That's because they slowed it down to like 1,000 frames a second.
It was a little too much sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I would rather that than
see a lot of butts.
What?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of butt shots.
There were a lot of butts.
Were there a lot of butt shots?
Yeah.
I don't notice that stuff.
Not as much as the bat butt in the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman.
That's the most butt.
That's the most butt in a DC movie yet.
The most butt.
The most bat butt. The most Affleck butt. Bat butt.
I guess going into the movie, I was a little annoyed because so many people were saying it's really good, you know, it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomato, it's going to be really good, and I was like, man, I feel like this is like a Revenge of the Sith situation where it's like, look, one of these has to be good eventually, right? Like they can't just keep being bad. It's time. So if it even like feels different than what has come before it, everyone's gonna be like, this is the one, this is good.
No, this one's good.
Yeah, it's like it gets to that point where people are like, look, okay, fine, I'll admit the other ones weren't very good. Okay, I'll finally admit that. But this one, okay, this one is different. That's how I felt. It felt like that same thing over again. And I make fun of that because I was right there. I was like, dude, Revenge of the Sith was like really good. Okay.
It was good. It connected the two trilogies.
That's all that we needed.
That's what we needed, is to finally see.
No. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I was Kelly told me before we went in, she was like, you're ready to hate this movie. I know you are. And I was like, no, I'll be the first to admit if it's good. She was like, no, you're ready to hate this movie, but I'll admit it was good. Like it was.
What's your number? What's your rating system?
What's your rating system? I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
So 6 out of 10.
Sure, something like that.
7 out of 10.
Something like that.
So a 70%.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, it was slow to begin with. There was too much exposition, but once they got to London, then it started being fun. Up until kind of right at the end when it became just the very typical just fight movie. Then it got boring again.
It was. What I really loved was the hanging a lampshade, Chris Pine playing Han Solo, essentially, where the ridiculousness of the God world and stuff is offset by him saying, "What are you talking about?" You know, just kind of the fish out of water, but him being the voice of reason for the audience. That was good. There is a part when they start the kind of there's a part where I'm like, all right, I get it. It's a little Guardians of the Galaxy at this point where it's like, why would they put sticks up their butts? Remember that part?
I fell asleep at some point.
Okay.
But it sounds familiar, so maybe I was awake for that part.
Where they're doing the clothing montage, the trying on clothes montage in this movie, where I was like, the silliness is getting to be too much for me. Yeah. Like, it's too goofy. There's a balance there where it's like, okay, yeah, you're pointing out that, the superhero goddess thing is a little surprising and that's weird. Yeah. But now you're just kind of, everything you're doing is kind of a joke. Yeah. So at some point I was like, it's getting to be too much. And then I enjoyed it as they're fighting their way. It's kind of a journey movie, kind of a Lord of the Rings type movie. And then she kills. See, this is what I wish would have happened. She kills that guy, and I was hoping it was going to be like, she has powers.
Which guy?
The guy she's there to kill. She kills the main guy who she's trying to kill through the movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
The actual Eris or the one she thought was Eris?
The one who she thought was Eris.
Okay.
I guess I was hoping more of a Thor type situation where Thor's like, you would call it magic, but we call it science. Mm-hmm. Where like, there is magic, but it's kind of grounded in this world's reality, and not so much like there was actually a Zeus.
So maybe there was a more clever way to resolve that conflict without.
Yeah, because the speech that Chris Pine gives her at the end, whenever he's like, "Look, maybe it's not one guy. Maybe it is." People just do bad things and people can be evil. That was a really good speech. Yeah. Even though, like, it's a little frustrating in these real world war situations that really did happen to have kind of like, hey, look at these cowards. They're just hiding here. This woman is confident enough to get up and fight. Well, yeah, of course, but she's a superhero and that didn't really happen. Like, so part of me gets a little frustrated with those types of things because it's like, you're kind of undermining people who really were brave, who did fight in these wars, to say like, yeah, well, look at this woman who's willing to stand up and fight. So like, what I was hoping would happen there at the end is kind of this. I liked his speech. He's probably not wrong about like the way men are, and this isn't just one evil man, but there's like. It's a conglomerate of evil and men maybe not communicating and that sort of thing, that I kind of hoped that there would be more of a, you killed this guy, but like the war's continuing on. Yeah. And there isn't so much of a conclusion. Yeah. Because that's not how the war ended. Wonder Woman didn't end World War I.
What?
If you can believe it. And so whenever he gave that speech, I was like, okay, cool. They gave their lesson for the movie, and that's pretty good. Like, she spent all this time focusing on this one guy. She kills him and realizes that maybe the stories that I learned growing up weren't entirely true, and maybe there is a little more mystery to why Wonder Woman has her powers, and that she wasn't actually like the daughter of Zeus or something, that this was a little more grounded in reality. So whenever they actually had the god of war show up, it was a little. I was like, oh, it's
just going to be
it is a god movie where there are magical powers. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying. I also got Logan vibes, which is maybe slight spoiler alert for if you haven't seen Logan. I won't give it too much away, but just that same kind of conflict where you have a character who doesn't want to believe in these stories that they're being told, and it turns out that the stories end up being true, and the slightly like spiritual component to that.
But Logan didn't believe in like a safe haven for just that safe haven had been created.
I'm just saying there's
if they had walked into a Garden of Eden type situation in Logan, it would have been annoying. I would have been annoyed
Yeah.
if they walked into heaven.
Yeah, I
like
get what you're saying.
it turns out that it's this magical place that and look, Dr. Xavier or Professor Xavier's here. He was here all along. And like that sort of thing. That's kind of the vibe I got with this. That like,
Sure.
hey, all the magic that you learned about, it's all true. And I'm the god
She's like,
of
yeah,
war.
I told you it was true. I thought it was funny in this movie too. Like at the point when he realizes that Ares is real, that's when he decides, you know what? I think I'm going to go up in that plane and just like kill myself.
That
I don't
annoyed
wanna
me
live
too
in
because
this world
I knew he
anymore.
was gonna die from the pretty early on. I
I
was
kept
like,
on saying that.
Oh,
he's
you're
gonna
so
die.
smart.
because he's
Did he really say that, Carmen?
Yeah, because he's too likable.
they made him too likable. I'm like, they're gonna kill this guy off because it's a prequel type movie. They can,
Wow.
so they might as well.
So brave, Kevin.
Or maybe he jumped out.
Oh.
That'd be a real Jack Bauer 24 situation.
Or a Captain America type situation. He's frozen.
He's frozen in time.
The gas was actually, oh, here's a theory for you. The gas that she created wasn't what she was good because Wonder Woman realizes maybe humanity has good in them.
Oh my
so
gosh.
that woman with the clay on her
Yep,
face,
yep.
turns out she actually is good.
No
she made a
way.
gas
No.
that would actually help.
No.
What if that and Chris Pine breathed it in, and now he's
Breathe it in.
breathe it in, and now he's gonna come back in Justice League.
Or he has the superpowers.
He's superpower. He's been living in the ice like Captain America. He's gonna be like a Captain America type character.
Wow, the
Oh,
new
gosh.
Winter Soldier.
That's my prediction.
Now, what
A
I did
fish
like,
British.
what I did like about it is that it was kind of complicated at the beginning, and then I felt like it was not very complicated once they got into the real world.
Once they had kind of set everything up with a lot of like
Yeah,
horse rides, talking, standing, talking, then they could kind of just be like, okay, now that you know the story,
Yeah.
here's the fun stuff.
and that's what I liked about it because I didn't feel like I was going through 5 different locations just to get the end because the beginning was just so weird.
It was able to breathe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like at the point when they get on the
Breathe it
boat,
in.
breathe it in.
It breathed.
At the point when they get on the boat and they have that first initial conversation where they're talking about like who's going to sleep where or whatever.
Sex.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that
There
was
were too
The
many
fifth-
of those too.
yeah.
Fifth
Too
volume.
many sex jokes. Like
I think you know what's funny is I think they were
not sex jokes.
no, they were.
Those are never funny.
They were, but it was they never specifically said what they were talking about. They kept it a little bit.
They said pleasures of the flesh.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You don't know what that is, Josh?
I do. But that's what I'm saying. They never used the word sex. It was
They said procreation.
I know, but just listen to what I'm saying.
They
Kevin.
kept it PG.
I'm gonna bring Carmen on.
You guys
every
are
time
start your own
interrupt.
movie podcast.
No, we're gonna start a show called The Inner Tube without Kevin.
The uninterrupted tube.
The uninterrupted tube. Great show idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I think that at the end it was supposed to be like when she says, I live for love or whatever. Like that was the whole point at the end. It was supposed to be a callback to all these times that they talked about sex. And she kept asking him about like what is it? How does it feel? And all that stuff. Like it was supposed to they were being equated. Like when they at the end when she's talking about like selfless love that would
Yeah.
like go in a plane and kill yourself to protect a bunch of people. That was the foreshadowing or whatever, was her learning about that through like learning about the pleasures of the flesh and all of these things. That's what I think was going on. I was like, that's what I think.
You
Is
think
it
love?
bad that I didn't think that?
No, I think it's bad that Josh did.
I know. I'm saying that
But
from
it's
the
deeper.
from the filmmakers. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying from the filmmakers' perspective. I think that they were equating those things in their heads. So when every time they had that conversation about like on the boat or whatever, and they're talking about like the all the books that she's read or whatever on the
sex
subject
books.
or whatever. Yeah.
Volume 5.
That
12 volumes.
Oh, 12 volumes.
Yeah. That
where they
they're-
learned that men were not necessary for the pleasures, only for the procreation.
Yeah, I think that all of that it was supposed to be in service to that end point when she realizes, oh, he loved me or whatever
Huh.
at the end. So
I think too deep.
Too deep.
No,
too deep.
I see what you're saying. I guess. Some of the sex jokes were dumb. Like, what's that
All of
down
them were
there?
dumb.
Where
were
he's
all
naked and the watch.
Yeah, it was all
Oh,
dumb.
and the
Dude, I hate jokes like that when you're like in a full theater and everyone's like,
yeah.
it's like, dude, you're all idiots if you thought that was funny.
Because like probably the third time they do it, because there's the walking in the bathroom, the boat part. Those were fine, I guess. Like it was dumb, but it was like, okay, yeah, she's never seen a man, so well, here's a man. Now you've seen one, and a little above average joke, like. About
It was all so
how
funny.
muscular he was.
It was all so funny.
But there was
Grade
like
A humor.
another time where they do it when they've already gotten to know each other, and I'm like, okay, I know maybe it's the rule of thirds that they brought it up so many times, and maybe you're absolutely right, Josh. Maybe they brought it up 3 times.
I really think that's what
so
I
she
think
could
that's
say. I
what they were doing.
believe.
Yeah, I really think that's what they were doing.
It was too hidden
But
at
like
the very end.
her, I thought it was very on the nose just with the message, because Chris Pine already said all that stuff and then they repeat it again, but in a much more no man can love. They're capable of great things, Clark. They only lack the light to show them the way.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was too much. We'd already learned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little. It felt a little preachy. When he
That's
was,
what I'm saying.
Even when he was saying it,
Really?
with the music swelling and stuff, I was like, come on, let's keep going, keep going.
Right, but I was like, okay, they're saying something. At least they're saying something with
Right,
this
but
movie.
but that's okay. Like it would have been fine without it, because if he goes and kills, dies or whatever, and then she realizes, because I think that was obvious. Like
Yeah.
he kills himself or what? He doesn't kill himself, but he dies.
If you love someone, kill yourself.
And then she realizes, oh wait, no, there is good that can be done. So I'm not going to kill this woman, even though she probably deserves it in this moment.
Right.
I'm going to destroy evil so that everything is good from now on.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
The
all
end.
of that could have happened without the big bad, the big baddie, because the big baddie is
Yeah.
war.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
she also had a great example right before all that, was the city Velds or whatever.
Yeah.
That they just saved, then it got poofed.
poofed.
Gassed.
Gassed.
What about that?
I don't know. To me, that was like a really great example of like how she saw for the first time how bad people are.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's
it was
what triggered everything. But nothing was said about it. She just saw it. You had the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then,
Absolutely.
then you had the preachy moment right after. And it was like, okay, you can show all this.
Yeah.
Because they teach the lesson of it's not just one man, that
Yeah.
this war continues.
Not all men.
Not all, hashtag not all men. No, it is all men. It's not one man. It's all men.
It is feminist.
We all have. It's patriarchy. That's what's causing these wars. But then him saying, "Yeah, I'm probably part of the patriarchy." Oh my gosh, it is.
Because you get
That's what I
that
was
saying
saying.
gay imperialism at the end too.
Oh,
What?
British imperialism.
Not-
Because
What did you
I said that because
pro-patriarch.
they're all like, oh yay,
Yay,
British
imperialism.
imperialism.
Oh, okay,
Because they
okay.
won World War One.
So it's
Oh, I
pro
see.
that and pro.
Yeah, it's
Patriarchy.
it's anti-patriarchy. That's
Yeah.
what this movie was. I think
That's I felt that's why I'm saying it felt preachy. Just like, okay, now the writers are telling us what the moral is.
yeah, but I would have been fine with it if they hadn't then said it 3 more times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Like, if
Yeah.
she realizes, okay, this isn't something that's going to just stop overnight. This is something that, that she can't just single-handedly save all of these people.
Yeah.
That she can be a part of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe she walks away. Like, and that's why she isn't, because she kind of gives that speech. Like, I realize that I can't, I don't know. Like, because they're at the end, like, what does she do during World War II? Does she fight Hitler?
I don't know.
I mean, she lives through it. They're
Yeah,
going to have to explain that.
Why did she let that happen?
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh,
that must be Ares. That's got to be him.
Or maybe in the Wonder Woman 2, they're going to have her fighting Hitler. her and Captain America are gonna.
Yeah.
Speaking of Captain America, did this feel more like a Marvel movie to you?
I think
did to me.
It was lighthearted like a Marvel movie.
That's what it was.
Like
Maybe
it
that's what
wasn't overly like this is the most serious thing to ever happen to Earth.
It was a little bit lighter and it was more singularly focused, which I feel like most Marvel movies kind of just understand. Like, this is the story.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell our story.
Yep. I think it's probably as good as most of the Marvel movies.
I enjoyed it more probably than most of the Marvel movies.
Why? Because it's a woman.
Yeah.
As a woman,
What?
did you enjoy it, Carmen?
Well, I liked it,
Yeah.
but I think I think the Avengers do better. But I mean, that's the
I like this better
combined
than
part.
The Avengers.
But the Avengers won.
I think this is the first
Avengers number
likable.
Number one film.
She's likable. I enjoyed her.
I was surprised by how much I ended up liking her based on what I saw in Batman v Superman.
Yes.
I was like, man, what a boring character this is going to be to watch for a whole movie. But so I was surprised. But I think that it was because I expected they were going to play it like this. She's like this super serious, like she's a fighter and all this stuff.
And
it was
she's
gonna
the
be
one who
boring.
knows what's happening, and nobody else. Like,
But she's
That's-
naive, and that's
yeah, I think that's what benefits is she's discovering morality and what the real world is like.
Right.
Yeah.
She's interesting.
And she speaks several languages.
Well, yeah, like Carmen.
No.
As a woman who speaks several languages, did you relate to that?
No, I think that the accents were really good too, so you didn't get pulled away either, even though that was only a minute or two.
I think
Yeah.
that part of my problem with this movie was that.
Oh, sorry. Also, she's
ahead.
a model.
Yeah.
She doesn't act.
I mean, she's acted, but yeah.
Before. But I was
seemed
impressed.
fine to me.
There was one part where
So that's-
stuff is
I think
blowing
she
up
did
behind
great.
her and she says something and I'm like, this feels more like a L'Oreal commercial.
I think my main problem with this movie, one of my main problems with this movie is that she was interesting to watch and kind of just see, how she reacted to the real world, but she didn't really have like any conflict internally until the very end of the movie. Like it was just like, okay, she's strong and she's realizing she's stronger, but she didn't have there was no issue that she was like at some point one of their henchmen on the side guys was like, we all have our conflicts inside, or
We
whatever. I
all
was
have
like,
our character, our quirks, and our personality traits.
yeah, and I was like,
Except for her.
I was like, well, what is hers? Like at the end, it made sense because she had to decide. Is it
worth
now
it?
that she realizes, oh, people are bad on their own. They're
Yeah.
not just bad because the God of War has made them bad.
But they are, I guess, because the God of War is there.
But he's gone now, and they're still bad.
That's what makes me so upset is that, like, if they would have had it where she has this kind of vision of the way things are, and then that's shaken, like, oh, maybe things aren't the way that I thought that they were. This world isn't, like a homeschooler who, like, goes out into the real world and is like, oh, maybe everything my parents taught me is wrong. I'll go the other way.
Right.
Then if that was the case, that would have been, I think, cool. I would have liked that. But the fact that it's confirmed that, oh, she learns that everything isn't the way she grew up thinking it was, but now everything actually is because this God actually is there, and it's her brother.
I think that in the next movie she should start shopping at Hot Topic, and
Yeah.
have all the bracelets and the arm sleeve and stuff.
Yeah.
Just really rebelling against her mom.
Right. That would be good. Mom
Just to
didn't
show
know
her mom.
anything. She voted for Trump. I'm with her. I am her.
I do have a question. Like, she leaves the island. How do they get back to the island?
Gotta go back to
Why
the
would she
island,
want to go
Jack.
back after she realized that her mom basically lied to her about everything?
But she didn't lie to her.
But she didn't tell her everything.
Lies
Didn't tell
by
her she had
omission.
brother.
What is that from?
From the Batman vs Superman previously on.
Oh yeah.
Whenever my mom's name's Martha. We're brothers.
That was a good one.
That was funny, Kevin. Good job on
Thanks. That was me. I did that voice.
that. I know you did. I thought it was very funny.
Well, I think that any problems I have with this movie are kind of minute. I don't like that they kind of cop out at the end and have the same old big bad, big fight thing. I think she did have a struggle. I think the struggle is more like finding herself. It's an internal struggle of like, who am I? Who should I be? What is my place in this? You know, I've got all these
in this world.
I've got all these men telling me not to help people.
That's right.
But I care. I'm compassionate.
Yeah.
I want to help everyone along the way. And you know what? Turns out that's the right thing to do all along.
I liked the movie was pretty anti-war? Question mark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that it was. I think that it showed some of the nuance of war, where it's not like war is bad. That's another reason why I wish that they would have left it at her killing that one guy and then having to realize that's not the answer.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, actually, he was just one of the guys you got to kill. Because I don't like in Batman vs. Superman, in Man of Steel, he kills Zod. And he has this horrific, like, I can't believe, this remorseful scream.
Yeah.
No! And then he just kills Doomsday, but it's okay because he's ugly. Like, you're still killing.
Right, that's what it was. It was like she was so opposed to like people dying, and then she was like in the next scene, she's like killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, so like,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
it
like
was
the Red Dead Redemption.
It was like
that
a.
game.
So I hate that the end always has to be, and then we killed the bad guy. But as long as the
Right.
bad guy is a god or
Right.
a abomination
Right.
or an alien,
Yeah.
then it's okay. And I know they're superhero movies,
Right.
and so these are superhuman. It just makes them less, like they're trying to ground these in reality,
Right.
but it makes them less real whenever you have that same old ending that all of these movies have.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anti-war, but it was like these what a lot of war movies do, where it kind of like
It didn't glorify
we
it.
don't want to be here,
Yeah.
but we're trying to like protect. This is self-defense. It's all kind of what that first fight was when the women are on the island. They're being attacked, so they have to fight. They're defending. The fight was brought to us. They're fighting them over here, so we don't have to fight them over there.
I mean, I think they did a good job of like showing like the evil of the Germans or whatever, but also kind of saying
Because
like,
all Germans are evil.
sure,
Yeah.
but also like at the same time, like you were saying, making it nuanced. Like one of the first things you see after the part where the Amazonian women are being butchered is they're at that council meeting or whatever, and she shows up and she's like chewing the British guy out and saying like, we don't where I come from, we fight alongside. You're a coward and all this stuff. I thought I knew they weren't going to do it, but at the point at the end where it was showing like the montage of him like whispering into the Nazis' ears or whatever, like giving them like the formulas. I thought that he was gonna like be whispering in like one of the British guys' ears too, like the guy who was like, hey, maybe you should just make sure you sign the treaty, even if it means more people die along the way, like that kind of thing. But they didn't go that far. That would have been too far.
Too far.
Or they had it and they just cut it out.
Yeah, maybe they weren't brave enough.
Yeah, they should have had the courage.
I just thought that
they
would
could
have
have
been.
ended all wars with this movie.
Oh, they really could have.
But no, there's she's like, why aren't they letting this guy speak? He's trying to speak of peace, and they don't want to hear it. What's up with that?
They don't want to hear it. Men do cause all the wars.
They do.
Would there be wars if women were in charge?
Yeah, they'd be fighting all the time. Just ask a Mormon, am I right? Because
Oh my gosh.
all the wives.
Oh,
Now all of our Mormon fans, look, hashtag not all Mormons, because I don't think Mormons do that anymore. Some of them
They do on TLC, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
all watch that show,
Yeah, we
Sister
do.
Wives.
But I think that there probably would be war. I mean, there is a queen called Bloody Mary. That's where.
That's
yeah,
true.
Queen Mary.
There's some crazy
caused-
girls out there.
Killed a lot of people. So
Carmen,
it's not
would-
all men.
If you were the president,
Hashtag.
would there be wars?
I don't think I can be the president.
Why?
Because she was born overseas.
That hasn't stopped anyone.
Yeah.
Oh!
Look
I don't
at,
really-
look at that one
I don't really-
Ted Cruz.
I don't-
He was born in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Controversy.
Yeah.
I don't really care about all that. I just thought it was a funny joke. Please
Good
don't,
one.
please don't
You
write to
went
me
there.
saying you
Wow.
you think you. Why would you say that? That was
Read the
literally
Constitution
just a
for
joke.
once in your life.
I don't care about the
Barack
presidents.
Obama was born in Africa. Okay?
Anyways,
And he was president, or was he? Am I right?
how do we?
He was
even
just
know?
a puppet. What other
Illuminati
things? What's
puppet.
another thing that I could say?
This movie also kind of reminded me of Doctor Strange a little bit as well.
Because of the circular,
at the very end.
the lasso of truth.
Yeah, sure. No, it just kind of it sort of had in terms of like the point of it, where it was like putting someone else's life ahead of your own, and that, I mean, maybe that's probably a common thread in superhero
That's
movies.
every movie.
I think. Well, that's fine. I think it was just that I was enjoying it for the most part, and I'm
Yeah.
not used to like being into a superhero movie, and I liked it. And Doctor Strange, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange also had a good battle at the end too. That wasn't over long and was unique. Without spoiling it or anything, but it was just clever the way they did it. It's still, you know,
It's still the big bad that he fights at the
still
end.
a big bad at the end. They have to cross all the checklists off for the executive producers and everybody funding the movie or whatever. But they got away with doing it in a unique way that I've
I
not
thought
seen a
Logan
movie do
did the
before.
big bad thing in a better way because he had to fight his clone or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that
But
was good too.
It was a little. It wasn't the main point.
Yeah.
And maybe these journey movies are like that.
Yeah.
Where they're like traveling.
That's what I'm saying.
Road
Like
trip
I
movies.
just wish you didn't always have to devote 20 minutes at the end of the movie to this long, drawn out fight.
Yeah, because I don't.
Yeah.
It just the last part of the movie was unnecessary. It could have been
my
a
least
more
favorite part of Logan. Are you talking about Logan or?
no,
Oh, okay.
but
Sorry.
no, I like Logan all the way through.
The end was my least favorite part of the whole thing, but we won't give too many spoilers away
It's
for
not
Logan.
about the.
I know. That's why I
the
still
destination.
That's why I still loved Logan because I agree.
So this movie didn't, for me. This movie was as good as most of these movies.
Yeah, I mean I liked it. I liked it more probably than most of the other ones.
It's a surprising year. We got a Pure Flix movie that we liked, and
oh
a
yeah,
DC
the Case for Christ. I
Did you
forgot
finally
about-
say that, Josh?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we did a whole podcast,
We did a whole
Carmen.
podcast.
You know,
Oh,
if you
I'm
listen
so
to the
sorry.
inner tube, you would know.
I'm
And a
sorry.
DC Cinematic Universe movie that we liked.
What's next? A good Christopher Nolan movie?
Probably, or a bad one.
Ooh,
The Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
I mean, Christopher Nolan. I've never hated a single one of his movies, even though like Dark Knight Rises comparatively wasn't so great, but I still was fine with it.
Yeah, I've only watched it.
I mean, if I were to
once or
sin
twice.
this movie, go through and point all the stuff out, there's all kinds of stuff in this Wonder Woman movie. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I got to get this notebook there. And she's like, oh, well, we got to go this. Can he just, he's like, no, we got to get this there right away. Oh, wait, we need to go have a getting dressed montage. Like, why was that more important? He could have just explained, look, in order to get you there, I need to set up all the transportation stuff.
Look,
and in order
you
to do
idiot.
that, I'm gonna have to get a diverse crew of perfectly ethnically.
I didn't like
diverse
those other
characters.
characters very much. They felt shoehorned in
We
just
need
to be
an
funny.
Indian, like an American Indian,
Irish guy.
an Indian, and then an American Indian.
No. It was a Turk. Wasn't he Turk?
He was Turkish,
Yeah,
Turkish delight.
Turkish. And then Native American. That didn't fit
Well, he was, yeah.
historically.
He came
that's
over.
not.
yeah, no, he came over because the Americans killed off all of his people.
Yes, but
They had to throw that in there too.
I mean, Pocahontas went over to London. So I guess,
Like in the
there are some
1700s.
Native Americans that went over.
Boy.
In the 1910s, yeah. I think so, Carmen.
I know, but they're not very well known
Well,
for
the
that.
one that was there was there.
The one that was there was
We had
very
an
well known.
American, a Scotsman, an American Indian,
But the problem is, too, even Pocahontas,
and a
she dressed up as
Turkish.
a English person.
I know
So why did
I
he
saw
still have his
Pocahontas
feathers?
too? Because he was. Come on.
Because look, the movie is made for dumb people.
Yeah, they're
so
like-
that you can see. Oh, he's an Indian.
Yep. I mean, the Turkish guy
He's
wore
Native
that
American.
hat, and I still didn't remember that that's what he was. I'm glad that they also showed the communists being evil in this.
Did they?
Yeah, there. Whenever they had the communist flag flying, I guess the Turks were communists.
Okay.
I don't know. Whenever they go into the gas place with the lady who's making the gas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the porcelain face.
Yeah.
Man,
That
she was
poor lady.
creepy. She was like a cartoon villain.
I think that lady must
Yeah.
be attractive, though, right?
In real life?
Yeah.
Well, we saw her picture.
We did?
Yeah, it was on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, but they did her up.
She's cute.
All right. Well, I'll look her.
I mean,
I'll look her
she's-
up. I'll check her out.
I mean, she's
Let's go around and use our rating systems.
Yeah,
All right,
compared to
I'd give
Wonder
her-
Woman.
All right. Well, you know, what are
Wonder
you gonna
Woman's
do?
a model.
Yeah.
Well, what else about this movie? Anything else anybody has to say about it?
Oh, her boots. Sorry.
Oh, whoa. Oh nope. Nope.
Boots.
Boots.
They were like wedges.
Oh right. Yeah. Well, I thought you were gonna bring that up with the costume. They were like pumps or whatever.
Yeah, like
They were pretty high.
so I'm assuming
her
they
heels.
got wood and they
shaved it down to build her stilettos.
I enjoyed this movie. I'm not super pumped about another Wonder Woman movie.
I don't know. I mean, they're
This
doing
doesn't-
Justice League.
Yeah, this doesn't make me
Justice League has Wonder Woman, Batman, the Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, and probably Superman.
It sounds like too many.
Superman's dirt.
Superman's dirt. Maybe it'll be like Groot, where the dirt has to become
Grow
Superman.
up.
Yeah, he has to grow up, so it'll be like
Oh,
just
baby.
They're like, "Oh, you're still alive, Superman," and it's just dirt in a jar.
It's a pretty good idea.
That's pretty good, right?
And that comes out in November. Justice League.
Yeah.
Superman's
Yeah.
Dirt
Yep.
League.
Dirt.
Superman's Dirt League.
Well, we'll do a
Superman's
review of that
gonna
too.
like come to life, and he's gonna be like, "Well, wait, Batman, are you good or bad right now?" I mean, I knew you as good. We fought alongside each other for about 5 minutes, but you tried to kill me just before that. Are we?
Remember?
Are we good? Are you good?
We're good.
We all become bad at some point, but right now, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so overall impressions of this movie.
hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become a bad man.
Overall impressions, Carmen.
Well, I mean, like we did the rating.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's over, Josh. You've dragged this out too long. It was fine. It was better, like I said, for a DC movie, the best they've done so far since Superman Returns. Yeah, that's right. I'm putting down Nolan's Batmans. No, probably the best since the Flash series or the Supergirl series on
On CBS.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
How dare you?
I don't
I-
like it.
I like. Well, go ahead.
That's what I was afraid this movie was gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
like
that
Supergirl?
because that is like, I'm a strong, confident woman. Tee-hee, let's do our hair.
I wear cardigans.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm not super. Yeah. She works at like a
magazine?
Yeah, a fashion magazine.
She would.
Yeah, and it's so dumb.
Oh.
Anyway,
I don't know. I liked it pretty well. I mean, I enjoyed it as I was watching it. There were times I got a little bit bored, but overall, like I was interested to see where it was going to go. And that's really all I want out of these superhero movies. I just want to not be sitting there bored the whole time.
yeah,
I think I liked it all right.
I think Chris Pine is in his element in this. Like he's playing Kirk
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this, but he's really in his element there.
Yeah.
He does good.
I don't think this movie is as good as everyone's making it out to be. I think they're just excited that they finally have a DC movie that they don't have to apologize for. Stick up for.
Or if Wonder Woman finally made it to screen, because there was that TV show too that didn't do very well.
What TV show? A Wonder Woman TV show?
Yeah.
No, that's from the 70s. People liked it, though.
No, it was recently, a couple of years ago.
There was a Wonder Woman TV show?
Yeah, and the costume was horrible.
Huh.
No, they never actually did that show. They were going to do it, and they never actually
and it
put
never
it up.
launched.
Oh.
So I think that's why a lot of people are so excited, because it's finally coming.
I see.
I think that they're excited. I agree. But I think you're right also, Josh, that this was... But I also think you're both wrong.
All right.
Yeah, so there. No, I think that this movie is probably as good as I want to say as good as these types of movies get.
Yeah.
Because they have to have that ending and stuff, and they have to have the it's PG-13,
like the PG-13 formulaic superhero movie.
Right. This one's one of the better ones.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Which is again surprising, probably because I'd held back my expectations.
Yeah.
But then I think that there's movies like The Dark Knight and Logan and those two movies that step
Just
out of the
those two.
mold and are above this.
Outside of the genre.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That I really, really enjoyed.
Yep. I agree.
Even Doctor Strange I liked, but
it
still had
kind of
that
in
third
mold.
act.
Yep.
Yeah. And Iron Man I really liked for that kind of movie, and the Avengers. For this type of movie, it probably falls a little bit under Avengers, Doctor Strange, and Captain America. No, Iron Man.
Iron Man.
For me, I know that you hate those ones, Josh.
I don't hate Iron Man.
Okay.
I don't like the Avengers.
I know you don't. I liked it.
I don't like the Iron Man.
The first Iron Man movie? You don't like that movie?
No.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Remember how much I loved it?
I think it's because at that time there were so many movies taking place in the Middle East.
Oh.
How dare you?
So you saw Hurt Locker.
Well, I mean...
And you saw...
I'm so sick of these Middle Eastern movies. Stop what is this, Iron Man? Now the superheroes are even in the Middle East.
No, it's fine. It's just it seemed like everything was taking place over there. And I was like, okay.
It's like, come back to America.
Or anywhere else. I don't care.
Great again.
Make America great again.
Make America film in America again.
Yeah.
Filming everything in China.
China. I'm looking forward to that weird mixture of a King Arthur movie with Transformers. What's that all about?
Oh, The Last Night or whatever?
Yeah, why is it half of the trailer's like King Arthur fights?
Why is the trailer so serious looking?
And it's like, oh, because Optimus Prime is evil for some reason.
Who cares?
How long do you think he's going to be evil in that movie? He's realized that in order to protect humanity, I must kill everyone.
Man, how many of these have
them.
they made now? Is this the fifth one or the sixth one? It's at least the fifth one.
I think it's the fifth because you've got
Lord help us.
3 with Shia LaBeouf and then 4 with
the Shia LaBeouf trilogy.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and then they're making the Mark Wahlberg trilogy.
Okay, so we got the Shia LaBeouf saga, and now we've got the
It's my
Mark
2
Wahlberg.
favorite actors of all time.
Hey, I like him too. Okay, but I like him in comedies.
Yeah,
Keep him in the comedies, and let me think. Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg was fine in The Italian Job. But that was before he was Mark. It was Mark Wahlberg before Mark Wahlberg.
before he understood who he was.
Yeah, and he was good in Four Brothers, but again, that's before he was kind of who he became. And I didn't think Shooter was that bad of a movie.
I'm trying to remember how many of these I've seen.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's my rating of Mark Wahlberg movies.
Anything else
that aren't
about
comedies?
Anything else about Wonder Woman before we start to wrap this up?
Nope.
We all agree pretty good.
It's fine. It was passable. It was far better than I thought it was going to be. Thought it was going to be awful.
Is it 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, as they say?
And
Or whatever-
absolutely not.
no.
This is at the same level as what Force Awakens. It wasn't Force Awakens level good.
Force Awakens. Can't wait for the Last
Airbender. I know.
The Last Airbender is going to be good.
I can't wait for that crossover. I think they're building a Star Wars Last Airbender universe, actually. Multiverse. Could you imagine? You know what I'm sad isn't happening?
What?
The 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover.
Oh,
because
I know. That was
it
gonna
works
be funny,
perfectly.
huh?
Because in first one, they're like, we're going to a high school. And then second one, they're like, you look way too old to be in high school. You're going to college. And they step up and step up because that's the movie that
Then
what's
they go
his
into
face was
Step
in.
Up.
So like to step up that movie, it would make sense to just have them say, you guys are so good at doing your jobs that we need you to be in this elite force team of Men in Black. And then it turns out everybody's an alien all the time. That would have been really funny. It'd be the only way I think Men in Black would work again is if you had Channing Tatum and whoever that other guy Jonah Hill, being as their characters in 21 Jump Street, learning that everyone's an alien and stuff. It would be funny. Those movies aren't bad. I mean, they're bad, like dirty bad, but they're actually pretty funny.
The Jump Street movies?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Men in Black or Jump Street.
What?
Well, not seen any of it.
I laughed so hard, and then we rewatched them. We're like, oh,
Because my grandparents were in the other room, and we're like,
they were. Oh, yeah, that's
They're
true.
gonna overhear how dirty this is. Ever do that?
Carmen's laughing hysterical. Oh,
Oh, I'm not. I shouldn't. I mean. Oh,
how?
Why did they sleep together in this Wonder Woman movie? It's because sex means love.
Yes.
Is that
yes?
okay.
That was the whole thing. I really think that's what it was.
All
They were
right.
equating the two things.
I guess.
I mean, they do that a lot before someone dies.
I mean that's always the thing. That's in movies. In a PG-13 movie, that's how
You equate
they
love.
say that. Okay, now the characters are in love. They sleep together.
I mean, do you feel like he kind of took advantage of her? Because
Yes.
I mean, I think that's probably why they had her say, "I read the 12 books on sex," because then so she knows what it is. Because if she's like dumb and naive, like I've never seen a man before, I don't know what that thing is. Then him sleeping with her would, and she's like,
That's
"What is
true.
going on?" And then he's kind of like sleeping. She couldn't consent.
Right.
She wouldn't have been able to consent.
That
to
makes sense. That's why they had to throw that in.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, there we go. There we go. Now we figured it all out.
We figured it out. I just don't. But they didn't need to have that happen.
No.
But I guess for them, that's their way of showing like
PG-13
love.
PG-13 movies with it's just the things they all have to do.
Yeah, it's
There's
part of
gotta
the
be the big
checklist.
fight at the end. They've got to sleep together at some point to prove they're in love.
Could you imagine being a director and you've got this great movie and they're like, yeah, but it doesn't have these things. And it's like, those will literally, it doesn't make sense for the plot.
How they? We're gonna have to have a line about how she's read all these books. Okay,
Right.
great. That's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, gosh.
Whatever.
All right. Well, great.
Let's
I
stop
hope this
talking
hasn't
about it
been a
before.
boring, before we learn to hate it.
Yeah, exactly. I still feel like I liked it pretty well.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. It wasn't
Wait a minute.
It wasn't $26 good.
And it wasn't 3 hours long. I really
it was
appreciated
like
that.
2 hours and 20. It was a long movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
That didn't
it
feel
felt
so
long.
long.
It didn't
felt
feel-
long to me.
Chris Pine's jokes took me on through it, and that lady,
Took me on through it.
his secretary.
Oh, she was
Yeah,
funny.
she was funny.
Man, she was
Her arms go up. Yeah.
the trailer made this movie look like it was going to be very dumb and not funny.
And yet,
And but even the stuff that was in the trailer was edited differently. The conversations were edited differently,
Yep.
and where like those jokes were like passed by quickly, and whereas in the trailer that the joke was like, and that's the joke.
right?
That's the moment.
I just remember there being one thing about like where Wonder Woman is like, where I come from, we call that slavery, and she's like, oh, I like her, and that was like the joke, and it's
Right.
like that's not funny. But
That's not funny.
But in the
it's employment.
But in the actual movie, it like cuts away from her talking, so you just hear her say, "Oh, I like her a lot," but she's off
And
camera,
then she explains,
and then it keeps
but
going.
It pays a lot.
Yeah.
It pays well.
Right, but it's
Thank you.
Yeah, but it happens quicker, and it's not. There's not as much attention drawn to the line, and that makes it funnier. Whereas in the trailer, that's the whole
that's what
joke.
makes it funny, Josh.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining why it's funny. Now it's not. No, I'm just kidding. You're right. You're right. And also, the trailer was so cliche.
I know.
Where it's like, and then, oh, funny joke. Flip it in a hat, flag on the tail.
I hate it.
I hate it.
I
Where
hate
they have
trailers.
the dumb one-liner joke, and then coming this year, you'll
It's
see
serious,
it.
but there's also jokes.
There's a joke. This joke is only here for the trailer. It won't make sense within the context of the movie because Batman met Wonder Woman earlier on in the movie, so he knows that she's not with Superman.
What a
Because
freaking
that's
disaster.
Batman vs
I
Superman.
know.
I thought she was with you.
Doesn't make any sense.
Bat joke.
All
Okay,
right,
let's get out of
everybody.
here. We've overstayed our welcome.
Thanks,
Much
everybody.
like Batman vs Superman.
Thanks, everyone, for sticking around. If you happen to still be here and you have not taken our survey, we were going to do that this week, but then we ended up seeing Wonder Woman. So now we're going to do that next week, go through the survey responses. So if you have not done that, go to our website, innertubeshow.com. This is episode 170, I believe. And we'll have a link in the show notes for this episode to where you can take the survey. It's just a listener survey to let us know how you enjoy the show, what kind of things we do that you don't like, what kinds of things we do that you do enjoy, and what kind of shows you want us to do in the future, all that kind of stuff. We like to do that every couple
We
years
love
or
to
so.
do it.
And
Every couple years.
If you have a question for the show, feel free to email us questions@innertubeshow.com is the email address. Carmen, thank you so much for being here
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for seeing that movie with us.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a fun
Thank
date.
you.
I mean, we were making out half the movie, so we didn't see
No,
most
we
of it.
weren't.
Can confirm.
We're not.
I had to
Carmen,
sit
it's okay.
next to
We're
her.
married. We're allowed to do that now. I want to tell the world of our love. I believe in love.
She fights for family and lives for love.
What a dumb movie. This was terrible. Why did I say it was good? There's plenty of CinemaSins fodder in this movie. They will be able to do it. They'll be able to say, he's going to take the notebook, but actually then decides to go and do this. Ding!
Wow.
That's my interpretation.
Great material right there. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to The Inner Tube. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode. And until then, we'll talk to you soon. Bye!